before she was bodily lifted from her dharna site and bundled into a police van, Sharmila was joyous, upbeat and ready to change the world. At least her part of the world, which is under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Irom, how are you feeling today? No food, no nutrition, no water for the last 40 hours almost.
But right now, my health may have something changing inside my body. But
are you feeling strong?
Strong. I feel strong.
And you are going to go and sit in dharna at the market today?
I wish to go right now to join them to make a big spark.
But that was not to be. She is now back in the same room at the Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences that she had occupied for most of the last 14 years that she has been on hunger strike. Back to being fed through a nasal tube, a picture that has become iconic. 40 hours before her rearrest, Sharmila had walked out of the hospital and said just one thing over and over again, that she would continue her fast till the act was repealed.
Oh, it is a draconian law. In our native land, there are lots of widows due to the infliction of this draconian law. Unless my demand is fulfilled, I will not touch anything else through my mouth. Any kind of medical care when I am free. It is my right. No, I will not take anything else.
But this is not attempted suicide, right?
Oh, just it is as a means of my struggle.
Sharmila's struggle continues, but so does the world outside her hospital jail, exactly the way it has for the last 14 years. Most of Manipur, 53 of its 60 assembly constituencies, is still under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, which was imposed in 1958 to tackle insurgent groups who want Manipur to be a separate country. But the state government is not even thinking of lifting it.
From her side also, she should think, it's a two-pronged approach to it. And you see, from the state government side, we have been doing our level best to improve law and order condition, right? And still, the underground outfits out here, more than 30 outfits operating in such a small, tiny state like Manipur. And also the sensitivity, you may appreciate that this is bordering the international border. And you see, Asian winds, disturbances meted out by the underground groups become down. Then automatically this egg will go. So long the disturbances going on, threatening the life and properties of the country and the state of this part of the country is going on, then we have to take certain measures.
Activists in Manipur who have joined Sharmila in calling for the repeal of the act dismiss the Deputy Chief Minister's argument.
If you look at the Home Ministry reports, it's very clear that the level of insurgency is much higher in Jharkhand, in Chhattisgarh, in Dantewara area, where 70, 80 soldiers were killed in one shot. I mean, in Northeast, this has never happened in the history of insurgency in the Northeast. In areas where there are full-blown insurgency in the Naxalite area, you are dealing without Armed Forces Special Powers Act. There was a time when there was a debate when there was some consideration of whether we should use armed forces there. The top brass of the armed forces came out themselves and said, don't use us against our own people. And this is when people in the Northeast looked to Delhi and said, but who are we then? For 50 odd years you are using Armed Forces Special Powers Act. There's a much bigger insurgency in that area and you are saying we don't want to be used against our own people. So who are we? Are we aliens? Are we foreigners? Are we fifth columnist of some India's enemy.
What is it about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act that so agitates human rights activists? Some of the contentious powers the Act gives the Army are the right to fire at a person who is acting against the law, even if it causes death, to arrest without a warrant, to enter and search any premise in order to make such arrests, stop and search any vehicle, legal immunity for Army officers. Activists claim the Army has misused these powers for years, as in November 2000 at Malom, 10-odd kilometers from Imphal. A bomb went off as a military convoy was passing. No one was injured, but soldiers jumped out and shot dead 10 people, prompting Irom Sharmila to go on her historic hunger strike. 4 years after that came the death of this 30-year-old woman, Manorama. She was picked up late in the night from her home. Next morning, her body was found shot dead and allegedly gang raped. Her family is still waiting for justice.
Never kill in encounters. All the killers, all the people killed in Manipur are fake encounters, I think. There is no encounters, and the government are trying to divert in the name of the insurgency group. Sharmila is our daughter, and I feel very, very unhappy because they pick up her like a dead body. We cannot bear. She is a young woman. She sacrificed her young life, and we weep the situation of Sharmila. In this situation, we all wait for her.
Sharmila does not want people to weep for her. She wants them to join her in a mass uprising against the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. There she was at Ima's market the day after her release, overwhelmed by the support she got from ordinary people. She believes people will evict the Armed Forces Special Powers Act from Manipur very much in her lifetime. Her fast, she says, is not unto death.
What I do is I'm fasting unto repealing this very egg. They repeal this very egg. I will try to eat something else, even though I have been under nasal feeding without using my mouth.
Not only does Sharmila love life, over the last 5 years, she is also in touch with a British citizen of Indian origin who lives in Ireland. He has been to Imphal a couple of times and met her, but their relationship is mostly through letters. Her priorities, however, are clear.
I don't like to live a single life. I don't like to be a nun or a saint or a goddess. It's just people's joy, which is impossible for me. I want to taste the beauties of life in my remaining lives.
So which comes first, the struggle, the movement, or your personal life?
Oh, struggle.
Sharmila is 42. She has a lot to look forward to. But is anyone listening to her? The state? The center? Who will help Sharmila fulfill her goal and get back to a normal life? For the moment, there are no answers. In Imphal, with Biswajit Das, Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.